Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So, yesterday we learned about how we can handle mathematical operations in JavaScript. The math library and arithmetic operators. One example we designed like an EMI calculator. So, after understanding how to convert the real daily life mathematical formulas into general computer understandable JavaScript formulas, right? So now next option, the other operators you have. So we have arithmetic operators and we have comparison operators. You know, comparison operators greater than or equal, less than or equal. But here additionally two things you should know: double equal and triple equal. That is one extra thing you need to know. So you have not equal, so not equal and not identical. Actually, this is basic, not identical. Not equal is enough, right? This is the comparison operators we are having. Now, one extra is here the triple equal. What is its purpose? You need to know. Generally, the general comparison operators, you already learned them in your language. So, equal, triple equal, what is difference? Greater than, less than, already we know right here. So the question is, what is difference between double equal and triple equal? Difference is nothing but, so double equal can compare values of various types. It can compare values of various types. Triple equal can compare only identical value type, identical types. So that means that is same type. They cannot compare different types. What is the meaning is, for example, we have where x equal to 10, where y equal to 10. X is number, y is string. If I say x double equal to y, it will return true. But it should not return true because both are different types. But JavaScript double equal, what it will do is it will convert and compare. That means if any string is present, and it have a numeric value, then it will convert into number and compare. Then it will return true. We should not do like that, because generally what happens in our HTML, from any control, when you input, everything will be treated as what? String. Then you compare as it is, then problem. So we should not allow to compare different types. Only if both are same type, it should compare. Then we have to use triple equal. This will be false. Why? Because it can compare only when both are same type. Both are numbers, both are string. So it is recommended in JavaScript always use this triple equal for comparison instead of using double. So that is one additional operator you need to know. Other operators are same that you learn in your languages: greater than, less than, greater than or equal, less than or equal. So one only thing you need to know here is the double equal and triple equal. Next, we have another operator. Other operator we are having like logical operators. So we have logical operators. What are the logical operators we are having? Logical operators like double ampersand, it is used for and double pipe, this is used for or, and exclamation, this is for not. You know this. So expression 1 and some expression 2. So now what is the result? It will be true only when both are evaluate true. Am I right? So if both evaluate true, then the final expression is true. So another expression one or multiple expressions or expression 2. That means it will be true if any one expression is true, right? So if I given not true, this represents false, negation of that. That means not true. Not true means false. You remembered I told you undefined, defined. That means you can try like this. That means you can syntactically try like this. Like if not undefined, what does that means? It is defined, right? These are the basic comparison operators, logical operators, arithmetic operators. These are common in your all technologies. Additionally, in JavaScript, triple equal is one extra thing you should know. And another important, so here we have in the operators. So we have assignment operators. Assignment operators, we are having plus equal, minus equal, asterisk equal, slash equal, modulus equal. You know that these are nothing but add assign, subtract assign, multiply assign, slash. One example I will give, let's see. So assignment operators, these are all assignment operators. So we have operators arithmetic. So we have comparison, we have logical, and we have assign. Assignment operators. Let's see one example how we manage. We will create one complex example again here. For example, see, I will copy. Yesterday I showed you this EMI calculator. So I will copy some images into our project. Open in Explorer, yeah. So we have some images. Let me copy some images. So I have some images here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more 5. Yeah. I will copy them and paste them here. Okay. So I am designing a page. Let's add a new file. We will keep in JavaScript examples. I'm adding some KFC online.html. Okay. Let's create a simple design here. I'm creating like some KFC online. And let's put the full bootstrap here. That means link relation is style sheet, href node modules, bootstrap, dist CSS, and bootstrap.css. Now here in the body container fluid. I don't need icons, but I need bootstrap JavaScript. Then I will link script in the body. Script source is node modules, jQuery, jQuery dist, jQuery.js, and another script source. And here node modules, bootstrap, dist, js, bundle.js. And here I'm creating a header, image source. So it is in public images, some KFC top .png. So width 100% and height as 160. Okay. This is the image we are having at the top. That's the image we are having at the top. Now below this, I will create a section part. We are designing a section part, and this section have class margin top 2. Okay. Here we will create an accordion style. We learned accordions in Bootstrap, na? Collapse accordion one I explained. So we will create a div, the class accordion. Accordion will have an ID as suppose KFC. Okay. In this accordion, we will keep here class accordion item. Okay. And here we are having a div class accordion header. In the accordion header, we have a button. So customer details. And we have class BTN and BTN danger. Okay, this is header. And let's keep W100. Now below this header, we will create a div class as accordion collapse. And by default collapse. And here we will keep ID as suppose customer. Okay. And in this, we will create a div accordion body. Accordion body. In this, we will display some data list, DL, and data term, that is customer name. And we will put a text box. Input type is text, ID as txt name, and the class form control. Okay. Next, another is mobile number, and data definition input type is equal to text, and ID as txt mobile, and class as form control. Okay. Now this is the first data we are having. This is accordion customer details. Now this customer details, it should pop up. Means it should open up and show the details. On this button click, we have to use what? Database toggle. Toggle has what? Customer, and database target. Target is what? Collapse. Sorry. Toggle is collapse. Huh? Toggle is collapse and target is customer. Hash customer. Okay. That's fine. Now you see I click on this, the details will open up. I will keep this accordion body as BG danger. Okay, margin top 2. So, and it will display in this way. I will add text white. Okay, these are the details we have. That means the customer details they can enter. Right? And this is okay. This is customer details they can enter. After that, we will give one more option. This collapse should work for it should work like accordion. Accordion means it should use data bs parent. We have to use data bs parent hash kfc. It should work for that kfc. That's what we need to give for collapse. Okay. This is one accordion item. Let's create another accordion item. And here we will put a comment so that we can clearly understand. I will use exclamation hyphen hyphen. These are HTML comments. And here this is customer details. Okay. And here I will put another comment. These are food details. Okay. So here I'm giving, this is like some meal details. Okay. We will create another accordion item. Class accordion item. This accordion item will have a div class accordion header. In this, we have a button, select your meal. Okay, we will have BTN and BTN danger W100. And below this, we are having again collapse, accordion collapse and ID as meal. Meal is the ID. Data BS parent hash KFC. Okay. In this collapse, we will have class accordion body. In the accordion body, we will design div. We will have a class called row. In that, we will put two columns. One column class call and another column and class column. Okay. And in this column, I'm just adding some image. So I will keep a div. So class card and we have an image source. It is public images and omg1.png. Width is some 200. Okay. This is one card we are having and we have a div class card header. And in this, I will keep a heading saying that some OMG burger, something like this. That is the card header. And we will keep another div class card body. And here we are having another heading. And in this heading, I will keep input type is radio. And radio will have an option. So label, I will just put a label that is 120. I will put ampersand hash 8377 semicolon. Okay, this is the radio. This radio will have an ID, OPT. This is a burger like this. This radio will have a name that is meal. This radio will have a value OMG burger. That means what is the point? We can access the radio by using ID. As per the rules of HTML, all radios of a category must have same name. And when user selects radio, what it will submit? By default, it submits a word called on, if you remember, right? In order to submit this, we are using a value. Every radio needs these three things. Okay. This is, and for radio, we will put a class form check input. Okay. This is one card we are having. And in one column we have. Okay, let's go to the second column. In the second column, I have OMG2 and this is OMG roller and this card body have input. What is it? Form check input only radio, but this is OMG OPT what? Roller. Value is OMG roller. and its cost is suppose 90. Okay. These are the options we are having, and we have two options now: customer details and mail. Customer details, it will open this, and when you select mail, it has to open toggle we haven't given. So we need to write a toggle for this button. What is it? Data BS target. Target is hash mail. Data BS toggle. Toggle is what? Collapse. Okay. And by default, customer details should open. Then for this customer details collapse, I will put as show. Then it will keep open. By default, one will kept open. And this is select mail accordion item. I will keep body. Where is this accordion body? BG danger, text white, and margin top 2. Okay, now click the second one, mail. It will open the mail details. In the body, we will give text alignment for that. Where is this column? Okay, text center. And you can see it keeps text center for this one. Image also, na? That means where is that card? Card text center. And you can see, I think this is not there. Why it is not there? Let's check. In the row text center, is it no? Column text center also not there. This image is independent. That is the problem it is having. It's okay. We will keep this inside the card header. It will be fine. So this also image I will keep in the card header, so that I just keep center. Okay, that is fine. Now what will happen when user clicks on mail? It will display like this. Now what is the point here is customer can enter his details and mobile number. He can select a mail, and in this user can select only one. User can select any one. That means we are just giving radius, and user can choose any one. Okay. Now after that, we will give one more option here. One more option. This is mail details. I have to design same. I will copy all of this. Okay. And here we have another one. This is add-ons. Add-on details. I will create same interface. In this, what we will do is this accordion item, everything looks same. Here I will use, this is wings.png, and here I will use the word like some hot wings, and here it is not radio, it is checkbox, because user can select more than one. OPT wings, and name not required because it is checkbox. Value is hot wings, and its cost is some 70. Okay. This is one checkbox we are having. Let's go to the second checkbox. This is like crusher brownie, right? The name I will give as crusher brownie, and here its type is what? Checkbox, and this is OPT crusher, and name is not required for that. Value, So value is OPT crusher. So this is crusher. Yeah. Crusher brownie. Okay. And its cost is 40. Okay. And that is fine. This is the second one, and its drop down should change. What is the collapse we have to work out here? The collapse ID is add on, and a hash, what it is, add on. Okay. Now you can see you have three things. User enters the customer details, and after that he will select a meal. Meal means user can select a burger or a roller. After that, user can go to the, here I need to change, not meal na, title I have to change. For this accordion button, what is the button text is select add-ons, right? Okay. Now user can enter the details and he will select a meal. After that, he will select add-ons. Add-ons user can select both. User can select both. User can select any one, or user will not select anyone, or user will select all. Now what should happen is after the selection and details he enters, now I want one more at the bottom here. Let's go into the bottom here, right? This is the section part. Here we are having a div, and in this we will put class margin top 2, and we have a button. In this button we will have class btn and btn danger w100, and we will say place order. That's the button we are having, place order. Now user will enter the details. User is going to enter the details. User will select a meal, and user will select add-ons, what add-ons he wants. And after that, he will click on place order. Now I want to pop up the bill summary. That means bill summary means how much he need to pay based on selection. That means based on the selection, we need to display a pop-up. In that pop-up, we want to display the bill summary. How much he need to pay based on selection. That means his meal is burger 120, and his add-ons are hot wings and brownie. That means we have to add these two to the meal. And if user is not selecting this, we should remove it, right? That means we need to add, remove according to the selection. Now how you will manage this? Let's write the logic here. One more. On place order, we need a pop-up. So on this place order, we have to design a model. Am I right? Model. So model will have a fade. Model will have an ID summary. The model will have a class model dialog, and model will have a model content. It will have model content, and the model will have a model header. In the model header, we have a heading saying your bill summary, and we will have a button class btn close. Btn close, and data bs dismiss. Dismiss is what? Model. Okay. This is header. Now in the model here, model body, we want all the details. I will create a data list, data list, data term. Here I want customer name. Customer name must be displayed in this data definition, ID LBL name. Okay. After that, I want his mobile number. and ID is LBL mobile. So what they enter in those text boxes must display here. And I want meal name, which meal they selected. So here ID is LBL meal. I want the add-on names, add-ons what they selected. And ID is LBL add-on. I want total amount how much they have to pay. That means here ID is LBL total. Okay, these are all the details we want to show in the model. Okay, now you see I click on place order. It should pop up that on place order we have to write. Where is that place order? Here we need to write data BS target. Target is what? Summary. Data BS toggle. Toggle is what? Model. Model it has to do. And I click on place order. The bill summary should come. And in that, I have to display all the details, how much he need to pay, right? What is his name, mobile number, what meal he selected, what add-ons he selected, how much he need to pay for that, all such information. Now what we will do here, that means on place order button, we have to write more extra logic. So let's go to the place order button. For this button, we have to write additional logic on click. On click is what? Order click. Order click is a function. Okay, let's write the function at the top. So we have a script. Traditionally, I am keeping everything type as what? Text, JavaScript. And here we have a function. Function is what? Order click. So here, first basic. Two details are very simple. Customer name and customer mobile. What they entered in text box, display in label. That's nothing special. So document get element by ID LBL name dot inner HTML is equal to document get element by ID txt name dot value. That is simple. Similarly, document get element by ID LBL mobile dot inner HTML document get element by ID txt mobile dot value. Am I right? Those two are simple, nothing special in that. That means just access the value from that. Now comes important. We need to know what meal they selected. And for that, I will declare a variable meal name. And it is a string type. Okay. Now I want how much the meal cost. Then I will declare another variable. That is what? Meal cost. That is a number 0. Right? That is first we will deal with meal. Now meal will come from radio buttons. That means we have two radio buttons to deal. If he selected burger, its cost is how much? 120. If he selected roller, so then it is 90. That means we have 120 and 90. Yeah? Okay. And this is how much? 70 and 40. Okay. So we will go here and write the point. First, we need to know which meal they selected. Those two are radio buttons. So first radio buttons, you collect radio buttons first. One is OPT burger, document dot get element by ID OPT what? Burger. Okay, that is one radio. Another radio button, OPT roller, document get element by ID OPT what? Roller. These are the two radio buttons. Now, how do we know which one is selected? We use a condition. If OPT burger dot what? Checked. Checked means if it is selected. What should be the meal name? Meal name is nothing but the value of that radio. That means OPT burger dot what? Value. That's it. What is the meal cost? Meal cost is nothing but 120. because it's a standard value, right? Now here we are, that's it. We don't write else. We have to write another simple if. What is it? OPT what? Roller. So dot what? Checked. Checked. If roller is selected, then what is the meal name? Meal name will be OPT roller dot what? Value. And what is the meal cost? Meal cost is how much? 90. That's how we define. Generally, sometimes people may ask like, why you are not writing an else? Why should I write else? If I write else, now what is the problem? I selected roller. Then first it will verify burger. After that, it will come to roller. Why you are verifying unnecessary? So that is why you have to use a simple decision. No alternative else required, because out of these two, only one will execute. Why? Because they are radios na. Which one you selected, only that will execute. If you put else, what will happen? Every time to check execute the second one, it has to verify the first one. That's time waste. So you use a simple if. Okay. Next. Okay, this is about meal. Now let's do about add-on. That means we will declare a variable. What it is? Add-on. Add-on name. Add-on name is a string. Okay. Another one, add-on cost. Add-on cost is a number. Now add-ons information comes from checkboxes now. Collect those checkboxes. One is OPT crusher. Document dot get element by ID OPT what? Crusher. Okay. Another one, OPT. Another one is wings. Document dot get element by ID OPT wings. Okay. We defined in this way. Now we need to know which one they selected. That means we have to use if OPT crusher dot what? Checked. If that checkbox is selected, what is the add-on name? Add-on name is equal to what it is? OPT crusher dot what? Value. But user may select another add-on. User can select two add-ons. When user selects second add-on, it will remove the previous and it will put the latest. But it should keep the previous and it should add the new. Then we use plus equal. This is add and assign. That is the assignment operator. That means what we have to do is already some add-on name is there. To that add-on name, add another one, because they can add more than one. If you don't do that, then latest name will replace the old. But they have to keep the old and they have to add the new. Then plus equal. That means it will keep what is already present inside it. And to that, it will add the new one. It will add the new one. Okay. Now, what about add-on cost? Add-on cost is how much for this crusher? 40. Add-on cost is 40 for the crusher. Now, another point. This cost must be added to meal cost. How much meal cost is there? To that it should add, because the cost is both meal and add-on. That means meal cost, already what is present, to that add-on cost must be added. So plus equal again. Which cost should be added? Add-on cost. That means already what meal cost is present, to that it will add add-on cost. Technically, you can write like this also. So that means meal cost is equal to meal cost plus what? Add-on cost. Right? And our operator can use that also, like is equal to is which one? Add-on cost. Right? So that is the checkbox. And very important, when we are adding the name, I will put a BR, because every new name will be added below. Otherwise, it will add beside the existing name. So just BR I am adding. Okay. Now the same thing I have to do for another one. What is it? If opt what wings dot what checked, wings dot checked, then here we have to give add-on name plus equal is equal what it is, opt wings dot value. That means keep the existing and add this also. And what about add-on cost? Add-on cost is how much? 70. 70, yeah? Yes, meal cost plus equal. So add-on cost. Now everything ready. We need to present this in other labels. So document dot get element by ID, get element by ID LBL meal dot inner HTML. It should display meal name. Am I right? And document dot get element by ID LBL add-on dot inner HTML. It should display add-on name. Add-on name. It should display the meal name and it should display add-on name. And another option is that total is also there. In the data list, we are having LBL total, right? And document dot get element by ID. LBL what? Total. LBL total dot inner HTML. Inner HTML. It should display what? Total amount, how much they have to pay. Here I will use a backtick and an expression. I will use ampersand hash 8377 semicolon. And this is meal cost. Am I right? In meal cost, total amount is present. That's it. Now I will just keep this with more option like, so I'm using font weight, say bold. I'm using bold and font color as some green, something like this. And let's run this and see now. So that means I am selecting, I am entering the name and mobile number. I am selecting a meal. The meal is a burger and I click on place order. Then it should display only that. That means the customer name, mobile, meal, add-ons empty. We don't have any add-ons selected and cost is how much? 120. Okay. I will go to add-ons and select brownie 120 plus 40 and place order. It should be 160 and add-on is brownie. I will select another add-on wings also. Then place order. It is 230. Two add-ons are selected. I want to remove this brownie from the selection. Then I will remove that brownie. 40 removed. Then place order 190. I want to change the meal. That means I will go to the meal and change it to roller and place order. Then it is 160. The meal is roller. And based on which one they selected, you can even print the photo of that here. Which meal they selected, what add-ons they selected. We can display those images also. That all you can try, right? How we display image. For example, in the place order, where is it? This is the data list we are displaying. In this data list, I will keep a div class as a row. In that we have a div class as call. We have another div. In that again class as call. And here in one column, the data list. In another column, I'm using an image, suppose. ID is img meal, okay? And width is 200, height also 200 like this. Now what should happen here is on the if condition. If meal is burger, then what we do, document get element by ID img what? Meal dot src is dot dot slash. So public slash images slash, we have which one it is? omg1.png. So is it png? Yeah. I need to check that. Images. So we have omg1.png. Okay, right. Fine. Similarly, if they selected roller, that means it will be omg2.png. Right? img mail I am adding here. I'm adding that. Now you see when user enters the details and user selects a meal burger and user selects add-on and user clicks on place order, then that information should come. That means we are displaying that image. That means the burger image is displayed here. Suppose I am changing the meal to roller and place order, then amount will change and this image also will change. Dynamically, you can do anything. And here our intention is just simply to understand what is add and assign. Right? So that is so that you can understand in reality which kind of situation you have to implement these things. This is an example form, right, for assignment operators. So add, assign, subtract, assign, all these are under the category of what? Assign. Remember, this is again not a complex program. It is after all just a simple program. Our code is only 10 lines. Design is too much. The design is very much, right? How many lines code we are having here? See in this 200 lines of code, here the code is just from, it is from 9 to 50. That means including spaces and all. That means approximately it is 20-25 lines code only, right? But the file is almost 200. That is because of your styles, effects, whatever you are giving. Presentation takes more. Here, nothing you done in JavaScript. After all, you use it to if conditions, right? That means you haven't done any complicated JavaScript programming here. This is after all a very basic level JavaScript, right? So you just handle a simple concept of if conditions. How do we get the value and use them, right? This is basically the operators, how we get manage, right? Next important in the operators, we are having another is special operators. Special operators. Like your Javas, you have all different types of operator, bitwise, logical, conditional, everything. Special operators, already we learned them. Special operators, we already discussed. We learned new. What is new? So we discussed about this new, right? So new is what? Dynamic memory allocation operator. And we have another one, what it is? Question mark colon. You know it, right? It is ternary operator. It is a ternary operator. So we have a type of, that also I told you. While working with object, I showed you type of. So it returns the data type. Am I right? Data type of value stored in reference. And you remembered I told you about delete operator also. To delete any particular key from an object, this it deletes a key from object. It is also an operator. You remembered I told you in, am I right? In is used to verify whether key is present or not. It checks, it can search for a key in object and return true if found. These all comes under special operators. These all are special operators. So new type of delete in, and we have other operator like So void, it discards the return of a function This I will explain one point in function concept. These you will learn in a function concept. We have an yield. It returns value of a function generator. This you have to understand with a topic called function that we are going to learn now. We will discuss. And there is another instance of this also you will learn in object oriented point. That means it returns true if object belongs to specified class. That I will tell you in the OOP point. So these are the special operators we are having, and several special operators already we learned. Void, yield, and instance of, you will see how to handle them. This all comes under the category of special operators, right? So if you are already aware of any computer programming, these operators are very common, but special operators are different, right? So now, after these operators, another thing that you are already familiar in language, what are those? You know about statements. That means JavaScript statements. JavaScript statements also you learned selection statements. What are selection statements? We have if, else, switch, case, default. You know this, right? This all your concept of Java, how you will learn already. Same thing we implement here. We have looping statements. What are looping statements? In JavaScript, we are having for, while, and do while. We have iteration statements, which already we learned. Iteration statements we have like, actually iteration statements we are having for in and for off. For each not a statement. For each is a method of array. Already I showed you. Map, for each. These are the members of array. So another is jump statements, you know. Jump statements, what we have: break, continue, and return. These are jump statements. In JavaScript, we have these three, right? And we have exception handling statements. Exception handling statements, we have try, catch, throw, and final. But JavaScript doesn't uses much exception handling in front end. When we use JavaScript with Node.js or backend, we use them, because in front end there is no use of exception handling. I will show you why there is no use of exception handling, right? These are all general statements, and these are very common across all programming. Everywhere these concepts are same, right? So that is the reason we don't need to discuss this, because you all people come from the back, because this is HTML for people who are attending already Java, .NET like technologies, right? That is the reason, because generally in separate UI technologies batches, what we do is we explain each and every statement again. What is if, some examples on if, what is for, some examples on for. But you are already aware of those. You will be aware of those in your programming. So we will not again discuss that here. Just you should know, are the concepts same or not? All are same. Conditions, switch cases, looping statements, iteration statements, jump statements, and exception. We will use in examples, right? Exception handling is actually important in every programming, but not in JavaScript with HTML. Why it is not? Because what is the purpose of exception handling? I will give that point here. So JavaScript exception handling statements. What is the purpose of exception handling? Exception handling purpose is why you need exception handling to handle exceptions. Huh? Why you need exception handling? If anybody asked you in interview why we need exception handling, there is one technical word for that. Huh. Exception handling is required in computer programming to avoid abnormal termination. To avoid abnormal termination. That means when an application is running, due to some interactions are not understandable to compiler, application will suddenly close. That is called abnormal termination. To avoid that abnormal termination, we use exception handling. But in JavaScript, abnormal termination never happens. Then why you need? It never happens. For example, I will show you. That means here, the exception handling, it never happens. Means exception never happens. See, .html. I will give here a simple code like where a is parse int and prompt. So enter number, enter a, right value. Okay. Another b parse int and we have prompt and enter b value. Okay. We have where c a/b and document dot write. So division is c, right? Division is equal to the value of c. Now see here, I am executing this now, and it is asking enter a value. I said 20, b value is 4, result is 5. It's working fine. Okay, I will enter 20, b value 0. You cannot divide anything by 0. Then what your Java .NET applications do, they suddenly close. Am I right? To avoid that, we need exception handling. But here it is not closing. It says infinity. Then why I need it? I don't need any exception handling. Even I use exception handling, browser don't have a exception library. In your Java, you have an exception library. That exception library will send messages like this problem occurred, this problem occurred. But in browser, we don't have. Then what is use? That means we don't have. For example, let's write the exception now. See, to handle exception, so exception handling, right? What is the point? It is required in computer programming to avoid abnormal termination of application. Abnormal termination of application. And why? And the point here is the statements required are, we have number one is try. It defines a monitoring block. Monitoring block. Catch, it defines an handler block. Throw, it throws the exception explicitly. And finally, it executes always. That means it contains the statements to execute every time. When exception handled, not handled, every time. So we have try, we have catch, we have throw, and final. Try is called monitoring block. Monitoring block means it contains the statements which it have to execute. If any of the statements fail to execute, then what will happen? If any of the statement failed to execute, why it failed, where it failed, it is monitored by catch. Catch will catch the problem. Catch is handler block. If any statement in try is unable to execute, it will catch it and it will report it. If anything it is unable to catch internally, then you have to throw and catch. Explicitly, you have to throw an exception and catch. If internally it is not throwing exception, we have to throw explicitly. Some problems it cannot throw, then we have to throw explicitly. That is what actual. So here, see now what I am doing. I am writing all these in a try block. Okay. Try block contains all the statements to execute. If any of these 4 lines unable to execute, then catch. Catch will catch the problem. That means what is the exception? It will catch that problem. And that problem information will be stored in EX. And we will print that document.write. We will print the error. So the error is what? EX. We will print that error EX. In the next line, I will give here. Okay. Now what we are doing is we are saying that try to execute. And if anything failed, catch and show me why it is failed. Right. And finally contains the statement to execute always document.write. I will say document.write. So some program end. Like this we are defining. That means that is the last statement to execute always. Now see what happens. I refresh, enter some 20 and 5. It says 4 and end. That's working fine. I will use 20 and divide by 0 and enter. It is showing infinity again. It is unable to catch the problem. Even I return catch. Then what is use? There is no use. That means, so you have no exception handling working here. Then what we have to do is, we have to throw manually. For example, see, we have to write like this. If B is equal to 0, then throw a message saying that cannot divide by 0. Like this, we have to throw message manually. Now you see in JavaScript here. So you entered some 20 and you entered 0. Then it says error, cannot divide by 0. That's working fine. But this in your Java internally works. It will catch the divide by 0 exception and it will display. In C++, Java or .NET, C#, everywhere it internally works because they have a separate library. But it is not going to work in JavaScript. So time waste of writing this. Then we better prefer writing error handling. Error handling means simply write a if condition. If B is 0, why you are throwing, catching and all? Time waste of playing all these. Right? What you have to do, just put a message, you can't divide by 0. Because there is no error library here. So that is the reason. Then why you have these statements? Because these will be very helpful if JavaScript is using an error library. And that is not possible with HTML JavaScript. That is possible with JavaScript and Node.js. JavaScript and Angular, JavaScript and React. In those technologies, what we do is we use JavaScript and additionally we can add a error library. Then JavaScript can use that library and manage the problems. Otherwise, you don't need this. In HTML, you will never see people writing any exception handling, right? Because it will never terminate it. Browsers don't terminate because they are using interpreters, not compilers. Interpreter means what? Line by line translation. Then why they will abnormally terminate? They never terminate. For every problem, they have a message. Even you don't mention a value, it will not return null exceptions. It will simply put blank, or it will use the word null. We saw in prompt. Na? That means in other languages, what happens? It will return null exception. But here null is a type. It will not return any exception, just it will display null value. That is the reason exception handling is very, very important, but we have to use only with backend, right? When we are using with error libraries. So syntactically, we define like this. We have try in that statements to execute and catch. So exception. So catches the error and reports. And finally, that executes always. So here a simple note, you can throw exception. You can throw exception explicitly and catch dynamically. That is what another point. That is the basic of how the exception handling works. Right. So next important, after understanding these, what are all the different types of statements? That means these statements are similar to all your language statements. So you can use them exactly. Only what is difference I showed here. Now, another important in JavaScript. Now you have to know about JavaScript functions. Already we are using functions from so many days, but some more information you should know. Because every time we are writing functions and working with them, right? But detailedly technical points we should know to answer in interviews. All these days we were using functions. For example, if anybody asks, what is the purpose of a function? In Java or anywhere you have methods, functions. What is the purpose of a function? It is used for reusability. Yeah? So technical means I will give a correct technical term about that. Actually, functions are used to refactor, the code. They are used to refactor the code. That is the technical term. They are used to refactor the code. Right. Generally, what is the meaning of refactoring? What is the concept of refactor? I told you already, in programming, you have reflection and refactor. Two options are there. Reflection API, I told you, you will have in Java and everywhere. Refactor is nothing but, so it is refactoring. Refactoring is the process of extracting a set of statements and encapsulating into a function or file. Refactoring is the process of extracting a set of statements and encapsulating into a function or file. So it enables reusability. It enables reusability. The code reusability is enabled by using this. But actual technical word is refactors. I will show here what is that word refactor is. Generally, functions are used for refactoring, right? What is the concept of refactor? See, suppose we are having some JavaScript file I will show. So there is some script file, some program.js. There is a JavaScript file here. I am writing. So for where I is equal to 1, I less than 10, I plus plus. And document.write, I am printing the value of I. This is nothing but printing the value from 1 to 10. We are creating a loop and doing. I want these 3 lines again and again. I want to use these lines again and again so many times. Then see what I am doing. I am selecting these lines. After that, I will right click on those lines. Then you will find a word called refactor. You will have a word called refactor. There is an option called refactor. That means you just write your lines, because sometimes even if you forgot to put all the lines in a function, we can refactor it later, right? That means you see, I will right click on this and say refactor. It is asking move to a function or move to a file. We want to move to a function. Then what is the function name? Print numbers. That is the function name. And enter. Automatically a function is created and called. That means it extracts those lines, keeps in a function, and calls the function. This is what we are doing every day. We are writing a function and we are calling the function. That means what we are doing, we are refactoring. That is the technical word. So refactoring is the process of encapsulating in any technology in the world. Any technology in the world, it is the process of refactoring. That refactored code can do any functionality. That is secondary part. It can do any function, any functionality. So that is the concept of refactors. So what is the purpose of a function? It is used for refactoring. How to write a function? So configuring a function. In JavaScript, how we write function? Actually, you can configure a function in 2 ways. We have function expression and we have function declaration. We have 2 things. In JavaScript, a function can be configured in 2 ways. We have an expression and we have a declaration. What is difference? See, actually, function expression. So the function expression will be like this. So we have a var, some hello is equal to function. This is a function expression. That is a function expression. Here, function is not having a name. It is anonymous. So function is not having a name. It is stored in which reference? Hello reference. It is stored in hello reference. That means now the function is anonymous. It is stored in that hello reference. Hello is a variable. In that variable, you have that. There is another syntax, that is function declaration. Function declaration will be like function name, and block like this. This is declaration. In JavaScript, a function can be defined in 2 ways, by using expression and by using declaration. Now the point is, what is difference? Both will work similar, but that means, for example, see now, function declaration expression means I will use here. So a functions, okay, dot HTML. Okay, I will use here a simple script and say var welcome. So welcome is equal to function and a document dot write. So welcome to JavaScript. Something like this we written. And we have function hello. Hello is a function and here document dot write hello JavaScript. Hello from JavaScript. Something like this. That means we are using two options here. Like this I am writing. Hello from JavaScript. Welcome to JavaScript. And I am calling welcome parenthesis. I am calling hello parenthesis. And you can see that both are working fine. Same. But one is an expression, another one is an definition, declaration, function declaration, function expression. So what is difference between these two? What is the purpose of expression and what is declaration? Because you see these two methods everywhere. In modern JavaScript, several times people use the first one, especially when you learn Angular, React like technologies, you will see people writing function expressions very much rather than function declarations, right? What is function expression? What is the specialty? What is the advantage of that? The advantage of that expression is in one memory, there can be several functions changing. That means what is the memory name? Welcome. So remember, welcome is not a function. Welcome is just a memory. In that memory, currently, welcome to JavaScript function is running. Later, you can change it. You can assign another functionality. That means instead of allocating 2-3 memories, in one memory, you can manage different functions. If it is a function declaration, for every function, a new memory is allocated. And it is only for that function. Another functionality cannot happen there. Loading lot of functions with different memories will overload the memory. And handling one memory with different functionalities will be good. But it has drawback also. Drawback is already I told you continuous operations, discrete operations. That means if you are dealing with discrete operations, disconnected operations, then better function declaration. Continuous operations, then you use a function expression. We have to use function expression. That means see here how it can change. First, I will give this example syntax first. Then you will see the advantage now. This is a syntactical example for that. So here, let's see how this expression can manage. So we are using var some result. And result is initialized with a function. It is initialized with a function. I'm giving here a simple functionality. That means we are defining like some var password is prompt. I'm using enter password. So enter password. Suppose like this we are giving. And here we write a condition. If password is matching with some word, what it is? Admin. I'm using triple equal. So identical equal, same data type. That means prompt is a string type. Value is also string type. So if it is matching with admin, then in that result, a functionality should be like this. In that result, we will put a functionality document.write So login success. Login success. If it is not matching, then in the result, we will put another function. That function will say that, so here invalid credentials and br, and I will put here another message document dot write. So we say try again, and we will put an anchor. We are adding a different functionality. That means try again. So here I say click, and here href. Href is using the same page. What is the page name is functions.html. Now you see, I will call the result here. Result is a variable. In that result variable, a function is present. How to call that function within parenthesis? I told you this is called IIFE, right? What is IIFE? Immediately invoked function expression. That is why it is an expression, function expression. The function expression is immediately invoked. Now see what happens here. So I will run this. It will ask password. Some wrong password entered. Then it will say invalid credential. Try again. Click again. It will ask enter password. I said enter password is admin. Then it says login success. You are not creating two memories to handle two functions. In one memory, you are changing the function. That means you can have two functions separately. One function for success, another function for failure. Then allocating dynamic memories, it will be delay. Then we can allocate one memory, in that we can assign any functionality. That is the advantage of expression, function expressions. So that is the process, how the function expression works. So that means here, this is an example, and this is an important note you need to note. So function expression is good for continuous operations, where memory is allocated once and the same is used for various functions. Same is used for various functions. It's just like a static functionality. That's what the concept of function expression, right? And function declaration is good for discrete operations where memory is allocated newly for every function, and it is individual for a function. That's what function declaration. So we have function expressions and function declaration. That's the point. And here, while working with function, you should know another syntax here. Generally, we have a function and the function name, and we have some parameters like this. Now you need to know one technical point about this. When you write functions, usually the functions will be like this: parameterless or parameterized. I will tell you what is parameter purpose. We will discuss that. Initially, in this, you should know that this part, that means function print parameters. Actually, we call this part as, this is called as function declaration. That is called function declaration. That part is called function declaration. We call it as declaration. It contains function keyword, function name, and parameters optionally. And this part, print the word function and the parameter. This part, generally this is declaration. And this part, we call it as, that is called function signature. Every function have a declaration and a signature. That is called function signature. And what are the functionalities it perform? That means this is the functionality it perform. This is the functionality it perform. This is called, so function definition. So every function contains three parts: the declaration, signature, and definition. Generally, to access and use any function from anywhere, what you need to access and use a function from anywhere, what you need function signatures. You don't need a function declaration, you need a function signature. By using the signature, we can access and use the function. Sometimes in your programming languages, functions, methods may not have definitions. Then you call them as abstract. You call them as abstract. They don't have definition. Definition is implemented later. That means if a function is not having the definition, then it is an abstract. Here we don't have that because it's not an OOP language. JavaScript is not OOP language. So you don't have any abstract members or other things. So general OOP basic are present, but not all features. So every function have a declaration and every function have a signature and a definition. These are the parts here. I will save this here. So here in that concept, I will give it option like this: function, print, and param. This is called declaration. And print param, this is called signature. And this is called definition. So the function have these three basic things. Now, usually we call the function by using the signatures. Now, next important is you should know function parameters. Tell me, what is the purpose of a parameter in a function? Parameters are required to pass them. Because you like passing parameters, you will declare a parameter. What is the role of a parameter in a function? So parameters are used to modify the function. A parameter is required to modify the function. The main role of parameter to modify function. Functions can be modified by using parameter. That means, for example, here, so we are writing something like, so function print numbers. And we have for where I is 0, I is 1, I less than equal to 10, I plus plus. Dot write value of I. Now here we need to call this print numbers. And see, it is I given less than or equal to 5. So it is going to print 5 numbers. If I want to print 10 numbers later, then will you create another function? No. Then how you will modify this function? By using parameter. We say how many, am I right? And that how many we will use here. That means whenever we call the function, we will tell how many to print. That means we will say 6 to print. Then it is going to print 6. Later we want some 16 to print. Then it will print 16. Later I want 5 to print or 2 to print. It will print only 2. So what a parameter is doing here? Modifying. It is modifying the function. That means if a parameter is not there, then the function will have same functionality every time. These parameters will go and change them. They modify the functionality. The main role of parameter is to modify function. So why you need a parameters? That means parameters are required to modify a function. Parameters are required to modify a function. So technically, so we have a function and the name and a parameter. And we call the name and we pass a value. And very important, the parameter defined, the param defined in declaration, it is called formal parameter. And the parameter value that you passed in the signature, this is called actual parameter. So finally, what will happen? Into the formal parameter, the actual parameter is stored. Right? So every function will have a formal parameter and an actual. The parameters that you declare in the function declaration, define in function declaration, they are all what? Formal parameters. And the values that you pass, they are what? Actual parameters. So we have parameters. Now we will see more detail. How many types parameters are there? What kind of parameters we can pass? How they work? That we'll see tomorrow. Right? Tomorrow we will discuss more about functions, function parameters, closures, function return types, arrow methods, so many. Right? Tomorrow we'll continue about functions. Okay? Right.